Good morning, people, my beautiful people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, we are back on with the virtual book club, and my morning has already been interesting. So, to say the least, I'm glad that I'm on here. I'm going to take this opportunity to share the video before we get started with the virtual book club. So, giving you guys some time to come on because I recognize I am behind schedule. So, when you come on, be so kind to share the video so we can get started for today. So let me just go ahead and share this video. You guys can let me know if you hear me or whatever and say good morning so I can know when you're on and we can get it popping today. Today we're going to talk about credit scores. We're going to talk about credit scores. Yes, we are. Credit scores, credit scores. And that's important. That's important in relationships, and we're going to explore why that is important in relationships. So, how is your credit score going? What does your credit score look like? That's something we need to really explore. So, let me just share this video. So, how is your credit score affecting your relationship? That is the title. I'm giving that to share to my own personal page, and we're gonna get it popping. We're gonna get it popping because I have things to do and people to see, just like I'm sure you guys do. All right. So, good morning, Dr. Telly. Dr. Telly, we've been having some excellent conversations today about this darn hurricane. Oh my God, and things that people just don't know because they just don't research. So thank you so much for healthy discourse with me. I appreciate that. Good morning, Marva. Peace and blessings to you too, sister. Good morning, Nawal. Peace and blessings to you as well. Sisters and brothers, I ask that you share this video so we can get started. We are still on the book Financial Lovemaking by Dr. Boyce Watkins. It's all about merging your assets with your partner in ways that make you feel good. So we're talking about money and relationships. And before we make a decision to merge our money with our partner, we need to have an understanding about money and how it impacts relationships from the very beginning. And I know we have a general understanding, but in this book, it takes us a lot deeper into looking at things that we may not have considered when it comes to relationships. I also want to say this to you guys, and we're going to get started, is the time for the book club will be changing because as you guys can see, my schedule is getting hectic. My sons are in different schools now, which requires a little bit more of me. So this is probably going to be moving to a 9 o'clock p.m. time slot because that's what everybody has been saying for the people who have responded. I am going to give you guys an opportunity for the rest of this week to let me know what time works best for you with the virtual book club. Does a 9 p.m. work best for you or a 1 p.m.? Those are the two time slots. I think 6 a.m. I'm not able to do it because I have to get my son to the bus stop by 6 a.m. So that's crazy. And my other child has to be in school by 7:45 a.m. So 8:15 is out of the question. So you guys let me know if 9 p.m. works good for you or will 1 p.m. be better. So thank you guys for coming on. Good morning, Charles. Thank you, brother, for tuning on. I'm glad everyone is here. Let's continue with this book, Financial Lovemaking. We are talking about credit scores, credit scores. So financial body question number 4. Is your credit score lower than a dwarf on his knees? No offense to little people, of course. This is Dr. Boyce Watkins' words. It is not mine. You know I will not be calling anybody a dwarf, but this is what he says. But like I said before, if you stay with his analogy, it will make a lot of sense. Good morning, babe. How are you? Good morning, babe. My husband is on. People say good morning, good morning. So credit scores are a funny thing. They follow us around and stress us out to no end. Also, a little problem on your credit report can cause you to spend days on the phone correcting the error. This is not a fun part of managing your money. But as you might already know, your credit score makes the difference between getting the house you always wanted versus paying rent to a landlord until you die. And this is the truth. It says that credit scores is basically, I'm saying, I'm going to interpret this to say credit scores in this world is everything. And if you're not paying attention to your credit score, if you think your credit score does not impact you, I hope that after we go over this in this book club, you will start to look at your credit score a different way. Credit scores are very important. When you are in a relationship with someone who does not have a good credit score, it can impact a lot of your move making, especially your money move making. So if you guys want to go and buy a house, it's bad enough that you have to have a down payment, right? So many people don't even have enough money in their savings account to even put down on a home. That's a whole nother story. But what about the fact that you need a good credit score to get a house to begin with, and to get a decent mortgage rate so it won't kill you? Now, if you're getting in a relationship with somebody and they don't have the credit score, how do you think that's going to impact your decision to move forward? If you want to open up a business and your spouse should be the person you can rely on, but your spouse doesn't have a good credit score, how are you going to get that loan you need? So credit scores are very important. In this world, your social security number, you got to guard it with all your life, and your credit score. You have to manage it appropriately, because one wrong move can shut you out from a lot of opportunities, including business opportunities. So don't ever lose sight of that. Sometimes when you want to go in business with somebody, they want to see your credit report, because they want to see your history of how you manage money. And if you don't manage money well, do I want to go in business with you? So credit scores are very, very important. Let's move on. The conventional wisdom about credit report is that there are 5 C's of good credit. So somebody write this down. Dr. Boyce Watkins is saying that there are 5 C's, the letter C, of good credit. They are generally represented as the following. Number 1, character. Somebody write down character. 5 C's of good credit. Character. Number 2, capacity. Number 3, collateral. Number 4, capital. And number 5, condition. I'm going to say that again. Character, capacity, collateral, capital, and condition. Those are the 5 C's to a good credit. So let's get into that, people. Good morning, Onid. How are you? Good morning. Number 1 is character. Character relates to whether or not you show a history of paying your bills on time. Whether or not you show a history of paying your bills on time. So the next time you just don't want to pay your credit card bills because you got other obligations and you're not going to have enough money, you might want to think twice about that. I don't care if you pay the minimum payment of $25 until you can get it together and put $150 on it. If you have the minimum payment, pay that. Even though it'll take you longer to pay you off, and that's not a smart way of doing it, but if it's going to keep your character good, pay just that. The mistake that people make, they think that I'll pay $50 next month because I don't have the $25 this month. And guess what? That 30-day mark of you being late goes on your credit report as a late payment. And then it tells people who you are seeking money from or some type of item from that requires your credit to be ran that you're not reliable. So how are you going to move into a new apartment if you're still renting? How are you going to move into a new apartment and they require a credit report check and your credit is jacked up? You think they're going to be comfortable letting you live in their house knowing your character? Your character tells them you have a history of making late payments. It doesn't make sense. You cannot do something like that. So you have to realize that your character is everything when it comes to the world of credit. People want to know that if they trust you with their property, if they trust you with getting a car and driving it off their lot, if they trust you with moving into their apartment, if they trust you with their money, you have to have a good character. You have to have a history that says, I will give you your money back on time. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is capacity. Capacity reflects your ability to repay what you owe. So if you have a job earning $10,000 per year, we're just using examples here, people. Let's not get crazy. If you have a job earning $10,000 a year, you probably don't have the capacity to get that $100,000 loan. Makes sense? So your capacity. What does your finances look like? What does it look like? So if you're telling me, listen, I want to borrow from you $50,000, but you're only making $25,000 a year, do you have the capacity to pay that money back? If you go out there and you want to get a home and the home costs $350,000 and you're only making $50,000 a year, do you have the capacity to pay that money back? And that was the problem that happened during the big crash of 2007, 2008. That's what happens. The bank was loaning people money out who did not have the capacity to pay it back. In fact, they also did not have the character to pay it back. So they were making foolish mistakes and jacking up the interest rate, all in the name of greed, because they wanted to milk you for as much as they can milk you for. And when you didn't have the money to pay it back, it caused the market to crash. So that's what we have to consider. Your character. How are you on paying money back? And your capacity. Do you have the money to pay the money back? Now, I learned a little trick. I'm going to share you guys. I'm going to tell you guys this a little later, but I learned a little trick. I don't know if I should tell you guys this because I don't want you guys. My makeup is messing up. Sorry. I don't want you guys to run around and do stuff to get yourself in trouble, but I am going to give you a little trick. So number 3, collateral. Collateral is the stuff you own which protects your lender from the fact that you might decide not to pay the loan back, otherwise known as default. Collateral. So if you do not pay back the money you borrow, how are they going to recuperate? So if you own a house, they're going to take your house. As easy as that, right? They're going to take your house and you're going to try to fight it. You're going to try to keep it. And they're going to have to oblige by some of these laws. But 45 is in a seat right now. And 45 is reversing a lot of that stuff that 44 did. So you may not have mortgage programs by the time 45 get through with us. You may not have it. So you can't go back there and say, I want to renegotiate and give me a very low APR rate and erase all my late payments because I'm going to start over again. That may not be the case. They're going to be taking people's houses left and right. You better believe if you do not have the money to pay it back. Collateral. If you go and you get a car note, you go and you purchase a car, whether it's used or new, off the lot, and you don't make the payment, your car is that collateral. Therefore, people will come and pick up your car in the middle of the night while you're sleeping. You're going to come out thinking you're going to work and you're not going to have a vehicle because your vehicle is going to be repo. That's what collateral looks like. And I know many of you guys saw that video I did years ago. Some of them have 8 million views on it. Some of it has 1 million views on it. People just take your videos and they just recirculate it. Where I told you guys, I loaned my son $500 to invest in the stock market. And I took collateral, his PS4, his hoverboard, these things that I took for collateral. So if he doesn't make my money back, I'm taking some things to sell it. Now, I probably ain't going to do that. But he don't know that. And he know his mama's crazy. I have done crazier things like thrown toys in the garbage. So he don't know that. But my point I'm saying to you is collateral. You have to consider, what do you have on hand that you can give somebody if you are not in the ability to pay back the money you have borrowed? Collateral. And if you don't have collateral, or if you think you don't have collateral, they can go after your paycheck by filing a lawsuit against you. Once they win that suit because you owe them money, they'll put a lien and they'll go ahead and enforce the lawsuit and they'll take your paycheck. So collateral, if you have a job, your paycheck becomes collateral. We really got to think about this, people, when it comes to credit. For those of you guys who are just tuning on, we are going over financial lovemaking. And today we're learning about credit and how it impacts our relationships. What was that? 1, 2, 3. I think this is number 4. Number 4 is capital. Capital basically refers to how much stuff you own in general. How much stuff you own in general. This differs from collateral in that collateralized assets are specifically promised to the lender in the event that you cannot pay, like your car, your home, stuff like that, right? So capital just means that you own a lot of things, some of which is not collateralized. So as you can guess, rich folks have a lot of capital. So capital, what do you have? What do you own that can be considered capital? So if you need to liquidate some of your assets in order to pay off your debt, you'll be able to. And we went over this a few chapters ago. We have a lot of things in our home that are capital, that can be considered capital, but we have to condition our mind to see things bigger than what they are. So if you are looking at me from a computer, that is capital. If you are looking at me from a phone, that is capital. If you have a television that goes on the wall like everybody else do, right? Because everybody got those televisions now. I know some people might still have the old box. The old box may not be that much capital unless you're going to sell it to an antique store. But my point is, if you have one of those flat screen television that goes on the wall and is a smart television that has internet and all this other stuff, that is capital. What is your capital? What can you liquidate in case you need money to pay off your debt? Capital. So people want to know that what capital do you have before they decide to lend you money? And your credit score operates that way. Your credit score tells a little history of what capital is, even if you have a college degree. Now, people check this on your credit score if you have college loans, because that too is capital, because you are educated. That means that, okay, this person has the capacity to make money back if something goes wrong. This person has the capacity to stay employed at all times if they lose their job. So they want to see what kind of college loan debt do you have on your credit report as well, because that lets the person know how much of an entity you are where you can duplicate money, if that makes sense. If you have the capacity to go out there and earn extra money in order to pay off your debt. So that is capital, educational capital. And your credit report will tell you that, including the kind of items you may have purchased on your credit report that's there. That might be capital as well. So when people run your credit, they want to see not only your character, they want to see not only the collateral and the capacity that you have to repay, but they want to see what capital you have. Now, the last C is condition. Condition reflects how your income might change if economic conditions change. Conditions. What is the condition we are living in that might make somebody think about loaning you money, giving you a credit card, giving you a house, giving you a car? What are some of the conditions? To go a little bit further with conditions. So if the country goes into a recession, if the country, not you, not just you, you're not the only person who's going to be in recession. If the nation goes into a recession, are you likely to lose your job? What condition are you under? Well, if you have a 5-year contract, then the likelihood is much lower than if you say you're a seasonal worker, right? This simply reflects risk. And the bottom line is that no one wants to loan you anything if you are a risky investment. An example of a risky profession might be owning your own business or doing seasonal work. So even though people may think, oh, I have my own business, this is good, I have the capital and I have the collateral and the conditions surrounding me are good, that may not be the case, because if the economy changes, it changes for everybody. And if your business has not proven through their own credit history, hear me out, because even businesses have their own credit history. If you have started a credit history under your business name, just owning a business is not enough. You have to also get loans or get credit cards in your business name. There's things that you have to do as well so that your business can develop the 5 C's of good credit as well. Okay, so we have to think about, how does this impact our relationship? How does having a negative credit rating or a positive one impact our relationship, especially when we're considering the 5 C's? So when you get into a relationship, maybe you too should consider the 5 C's. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be your end all or be all and whether or not it should determine if you stay with that person. But I'm going to say we have to start making some wise decisions when we enter in relationships, because some of us, not all of us, some of us are linked up with some jokers. We linked up with people who can't pay bills. We linked up with people who got poor money management. So if you know this about this person, if you see the way this person moves, it's kind of suspicious, why not examine their credit history? You will be surprised how many couples I work with that they don't know their partner's credit history. I think that's bananas. I personally think that it's sick. Why would you not know your partner's credit history? You are thinking about merging everything about you with this person. This is not high school. This is not high school. This is decision making. This is raising families. This is about prospering marriage, theoretically. Now, hear me out when I say theoretically. I'm talking about in theory. It's supposed to bring wealth, not just financial wealth, wealth in all areas, and love, and children, and money, and property. I mean, marriage theoretically is supposed to bring wealth, but our practice is a little off. We really got to consider it when we get into relationships with people. When we go out there and we're thinking about starting a family, you're going to allow somebody to enter into your body with the possibility to implant a seed in your womb, and you don't know his credit history. You don't like the way he manages money. You are the one who's stressing out about not being able to make your bills while this person is buying Jordans and doodads. Now you wondering, why would you put yourself in that situation? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So we need to examine everything about our partners. And fellas, the same thing is true of women. If she's holding you to a high standard, but yet her credit is jacked up, if you wanted to make moves with her so that you guys can begin to build and she can't even build with you, what kind of stress you think that's going to bring on you? You guys have to balance each other out. And I'm only talking to some people, not everybody, because some people got it on lock. Their game is in order. And I get it. And I applaud you. And I love that. But we have to be able to balance each other. Because in a relationship, it's like a seesaw, right? Sometimes we up, sometimes we down. I mean, it sucks when both people are down because you're both struggling together. But if we're going to struggle together, damn, one of us got to at least have good credit so we can get a credit card and maybe we can invest in a business on our credit card and then pay it back as we start generating income. I mean, come on, let's think about it. If we both down, somebody got to have good credit, right? It's a seesaw type of effect. So you want to start to examine, what does your partner's credit history look like? Do they exhibit the 5 C's of good credit? Do they have good character? Right? Especially if your partner is one of those partners that asks you for money. Now, every once in a while, I get it. But if it's a pattern, if you're constantly asking for money, that should be enough to give the person a side eye like, what you trying to do? Now, I'm not talking about your husband or your wife to some extent. Yeah, to some extent, because some husband and wives, you need to look at them like, with the side eye anyway. But I'm saying in general, if your partner, somebody that you are not married to, you are dating, you are courting, you are cohabitating with, or as they would say in the churches, you are shacking up with, whoever the case is, if that person is always asking you for money, if that person never has enough money to make it to the end of the next paycheck season or the paycheck, whatever the case is, if they don't have enough money, that's not enough for you to turn around and say, is this a person I want to spend the rest of my life with? That's not enough for you to say, I wonder what this person's credit score look like. Do they have a lot of repos on their credit scores? Do they have bankruptcies on their credit score? Do they have missed payment and late payments on their credit score? Do they have collection accounts on their credit score? Do they have evictions on their credit report? I keep saying score, but I meant report. Do they have evictions? These are the type of things that you want to look at, because when you decide to build with somebody, their credit history, their credit report can negatively impact your relationship, and it can keep you back from achieving greatness. So that's all I have to say for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I mean, I know this session was short, but that's all we need to cover in that session when we talk about credit reports. So my takeaway for today is, before you get in a relationship with anybody, especially if it's going to be a serious relationship, especially, now I'm going to get a little bit raunchy right now, especially if you are going to decide to exchange body fluids with that person unprotected, which can lead you to a host of things, but especially bearing a child, and that person has a poor credit history, that person does not manage money well, that person is a spendaholic, how do you think that situation is going to look for you and that child? So we have to really consider these kind of things. And it goes both ways. This is not just the women. I'm not just beating up on the men. If you are going to do some things unprotected with your lady, and you know it's a possibility that she can get pregnant, but she can't even keep a job, she can't even pay any bills, she always asking you for money, she owe everybody and their grandmother for money, She spend like it's going out of style. I'm not saying she's going to do the same thing when she becomes a mother, but I'm saying that's something for you to analyze. That is something for you to consider. Is this somebody you can build with? Is this someone who is financially responsible? Now, if you notice, I'm not even talking about how much money you make or you don't make. I'm saying about being financially responsible, because you can make $40,000 a year and still be financially responsible. So you want to get in a relationship with somebody who keeps their credit at their heart. Somebody who says, you know what, I ain't gonna let nobody and nothing jack up my credit, because they are responsible. They're paying their bills on time and all these other things. It's very important for that to happen. So Marva is saying that is crucial information. Yes, Marva, it is crucial information. So I'm going to log off, but I'm going to tell you guys what I promised you I would tell you when it comes to building your credit. Now, I know a lot of people will not agree with this, but I have done it and it works. I have done it. So if you go to, Jesus, I forgot the website. Somebody remind me to tell you the website. I don't know if it's Banker One. I know I have it somewhere. I probably have the book on my table. Somebody remind me to tell you the website, but it's a website that I want you to go to and apply for a credit card. Now, this is what you must do in order to do that. You got to put your information in. And listen, let me just say this. If you're not a disciplined person, don't do this at all. Stay away from it. I'm not speaking to the people who are undisciplined. I'm not speaking to the people who have jacked up credit. And this is no offense to you. Don't get in your feelings and don't get offended. I'm not speaking to the people who got jacked up credit. I'm speaking to the people who have managed their credit appropriately and they want to build their credit. They want to build their credit score. So I'm going to give you I think it's bank rate or bank one. Let me see if I can look it up on my computer. But there is a credit card company I want you to go to apply to. Now, what you have to do is you have to fill in everything. And as long as you put the income level, because they're going to ask you for the income, as long as you keep the income level anywhere from about 100,000 to 120,000, never going over 120,000, they don't verify your income. Once you go over 120,000, they will verify your income and then they will ultimately deny you. But if you have decent credit card, a decent credit history, whether you have credit cards or not, but if you have a decent credit history and you put your income anywhere from 100,000 to 120,000, that's where you have to get it. Chances are they're going to give you credit right on the spot. Let me give you that website. Let me see if I can look it up. And I've done this, and this is how I built my credit history. Let me see. It's called Bank something. Oh my gosh. I'm looking for it, but oh my God, what is it called? Somebody just remind me. I don't have time to spend on here all day looking for it. I'm looking on my internet right now to see if I can find it, but it's bank something. Bank rate. I think it's called bank rate. Something like that. I don't know. It's something like that. Bankrate.com. I believe that's the site. Bankrate.com. If you go to Bankrate, yes, this is it. I'm on the website right now. Is it this? Yes. Is it Bankrate cards for? Yes. So you see where it says if you're on it right now, it will tell you you can get business cards. So it's important for you to build up your business. If you have a business, it's important for you to build up your business history. And they let you know credit cards for fair credit and credit cards for bad credit. And they do this whole comparison thing. But my point is, if you have bad credit, you definitely want to start to build up your credit history. So they have those things too. You might get a higher interest rate. And I'm not telling you to use the card. If you are not disciplined, this is not what you are supposed to do. But the point is, you got to put down your income there. And your income should never exceed 120,000. I always say keep it anywhere from like $95,000 to $100,000. And you go to bankrate.com. They divide up the credit cards. You can apply for a credit card for your business. You can apply for a credit card for good credit. If you have good credit, you can apply for a credit card if you have bad credit. And that way you can build up your credit history. And they'll do that. Never apply to more than 3 cards. Never ever do that, because then it starts hitting your credit report. It starts dinging it with negative credit. So don't do that. It'll give you negative feedback on your credit reports. So if you do it this way to build up your credit, you can do this. But if you're not a disciplined person, stay away from the idea in its entirety. You have to be a disciplined person. And if you have a business, but your business does not have credit, I suggest you go to bankrate.com and apply for a credit card in your business name. So yes, it will use your credit history as well, because your business doesn't have a credit history. So it's going to use a little bit of your credit history as well. Okay. But it's important for you to build up the credit history that you have with your business as well, because you want to have that. So when you start wanting to expand your business, when you start wanting to bring on new products and services, or you need some working capital to hire people, whatever the case is, so that you can generate more money into your business, you're going to need business credit. So if you go to bankrate.com and you are a financially disciplined person, I am not speaking to those who need to be in SA, Spendaholics Anonymous. I'm not speaking to those people who need to be in SA. I'm speaking to the people who have proven that they have good character, who have proven that they have the capacity to pay back their credit. They have the history to say, you can trust me. Those are the people I'm speaking to. Build up your credit history with your business, build up your personal credit history, and get yourself together before you get in a relationship with anybody. If your stuff is jacked up, take the advice that I'm giving you. Build up your credit so that you can enter into a relationship with equal footing, or as close to equal as possible. You never want to be that person in a relationship who is the burden, the person who can't financially get it together, because if not, you're going to ruin your relationship and it's not going to be prosperous whatsoever. In fact, if you're married, it'll end in divorce. I'm just sorry. Most divorces happen because of financial reasons. And if you come to me and for couples counseling, it don't mean I'm going to save you if your credit is jacked up and you don't see that you have a problem. I can only work with people who are willing to examine the fact that they have a spending problem. You get what I'm saying? So I'm telling you guys that build up your credit, build up your credit history, build up your business credit. Take the advice I'm giving to you and apply it. I love you guys. That's right. Thank you so much, Marva, for putting that in there. Bankrate.com. That's where you want to go. Can you use it? I don't know what you mean when you say, can you use it on need? What about if you don't have credit? Yes, if you don't have credit, you can use it as to on need. You just have to select the option for people like you. So it would be under bad credit. So you look for cards that have bad credit. They might give you a hybrid, which has like a secure credit line and an insecure credit line. They might give you a hybrid, but everybody's situation is different. And you may think you don't have credit. If you have not run your credit report, then you're not going to know whether or not you have credit. So tomorrow we're going to talk about credit reports. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to run your credit report, how to analyze your credit report, and if you have negative things on your credit report, how to clean it up. That's tomorrow's topic. I see you guys with the virtual book club at 8:15 in the a.m. Love you all. Share the video. And don't forget, I'm speaking in Louisville, Kentucky on September 29th. Come out and be a part of the All Black National Convention, when we just don't talk about change. We are about change, and we make things happen collectively and economically, collaboratively. Speak to you soon. Love you all.